I'm here in Florida, Gainesville, Florida, and we're waiting here at a watermelon factory, waiting to get loaded. So the load today is going all the way from Gainesville, Florida up to Indiana. So stay tuned and we'll tell you what's going on. Welcome. Really a cluster truck here today. There's so many trucks here on this little lot with all these watermelons. Not enough room to move around. So hopefully they'll get someone to start directing the traffic. I'm kind of way out of the way, so I'm all right. But now there's trucks even behind me.
Significant number of miles on the oil that's in the engine. Do you know when the oil was changed?
It's really kind of interesting. The buses go out into the fields and pick the watermelons, and then they come here and go right from the bus to that conveyor belt and right on our trucks. And I'm taking this load to Walmart, so you're getting nice fresh produce from Walmart and any other grocery store. This is how we do watermelons. So something kind of different for you guys to see some produce freight and refrigerated freight rather than just the dry van freight that you've been seeing me haul for years. All right, we're getting out of here. This was a long wait, but a little bit interesting. Just as it's starting to rain. They don't even put a seal on for watermelon. You would think with fresh produce they would. Now this is one tight street. I could be one of these trucks. As we mow down the grass on that side, I often talk about smells, smell-o-vision. Well, that place had a smell of like sour wine, or just wine, just wine. It was an odd smell. And it's because of the rotting watermelon carcasses. How is that for sounding good? But we're only going to go 95 miles tonight, and that'll get us up to the Flying J near Valdosta, Georgia. And then we're going to Auburn, Indiana tomorrow. We won't be there tomorrow, but that's our final destination. Hold on, everyone. Here in Florida, picking up watermelons. We're here in Cartersville, Georgia, on our trip up to Indiana with our load of watermelons. I noticed that little pumping station over there. It's actually the vent for their fuel, but it looks like RV people have tried to dump their RV tanks in there. That would be pretty funny to see. Anyway, good morning. I'm Indiana Jack, and so far we're having a great trip, just stretching the legs this morning, and then we'll get going on up to Indiana. Well, while I'm here, I asked them how much it was cost to get my DPF filter cleaned here. And for those of you who don't know, that's a diesel particulate filter, and it's $1,000. And she said it takes them 10 hours to do it. So it's not like you can come here and idle for that 10 hours, you know. So you would have to drop it off, I guess, or stay in a hotel. There's a hotel right over there. So $1,000 here. I'll bet you anything it'd be $3,000 at Volvo. I don't know that, but I'm just guessing. I'll bet you $3,000 at Volvo. But I don't know. That's just good information for you to make a comment about that if you would. I thought it would be like $500. That filter cleaning. I wanted to explain, I'll tell the story about what happened to Old Red. No, she did not get in a fiery crash like the picture shows. I mentioned earlier I just wanted a change a few weeks ago, just because I wanted another truck. I wanted an I-shift, just to experience that and to be able to drive one. And so the first thing I wanted to do is see how much I could get another Volvo for, one that had an I-shift. So I called up Eddie, and ironically they had one. That one of the guys who drove it, he went to team up with his brother, and they're a team now, and he had released his vehicle. So it just so happens that it was available, and so I took advantage of that, and so I'm buying it. And so now I had to decide what to do with Old Red. You know, should I keep her as a backup truck, maybe? Should I restore her, you know, by replacing everything, making her like new again? Or maybe getting another driver for it and restoring it. But that's a whole different thing. I don't want to own a trucking company and have other drivers working for me. So I decided to sell her. Sorry for the disrespect. And I remember my friend Manel, who I have actually talked about in this series of videos in the past almost 10 years. He's always wanted my truck. He's always wanted Old Red. So I sent him a message and said, hey, I'm going to be selling her. Would you like to buy her? And with no hesitation, he said yes. So we arranged it all, and he flew out here, and this is a little bit of what happened in the past couple of weeks as Old Red became history in her association with me. You know, I keep track and I keep a log, other than just my regular logs, of what I do and when I do it. And this is the black book that I've had ever since the beginning. And it shows here, I was in Louisville, and on October 28th, or in 2008 of October, on the 18th, I flew to Ontario. And this is the first day I drove Old Red on the 20th. Did 592 miles to Dunnigan, California from Fontana. So that's the first day I got Old Red. You know, a day like today is moving day for me. It's the day that I cleaned everything out of Old Red after pretty much 10 years of driving this truck. So there's definitely a strong emotion that I feel about something that's physical. You know, I never thought I would feel that. So Old Red, you've been a good truck. I know the audience likes you, and I do too, so it's kind of emotional. So I know a guy named Manel. He has followed my truck, Old Red, probably for almost 10 years anyway, ever since I've been making videos, and he always comments on the different things. Maybe you've seen his comments. I've talked about him in my films all that time, and he actually bought Old Red. And I know you guys keep sending me emails wanting to know what has happened to Old Red. Well, this is it. She is being sold to my friend Manel in California. So she's going back, and she's actually going to be a California truck again. I've been watching this truck for all these years. Is there a specific time that you remember specifically about the first time that you saw saw Old Red?
Yeah, I remember when you were having issues with the kingpins, and you had some downtime on that. You took it into that shop, and I forgot how many days it sat around, but you vlogged the whole thing, and that just goes to show you the downtime you do get to have with being an owner-operator, I guess, really.
So now you have this older truck, but she's reliable. What are you going to do with her?
So with the whole California emissions law, my truck, after another year, I won't be able to register it anymore. So now that this has the emissions in it, I'll be able to run it for another couple years, and hopefully I can go up from there. Still want to keep it in the family, but I also want to maybe put somebody in it, or put somebody in your truck, and me still drive this one. So
I know the audience will want to know this. Are you going to take care of her?
Of course, just like you did. And I was telling you how well you took care of it earlier, so.
All right, well, thanks, man.
She'll
appreciate that. Hey, one thing I didn't tell you, I didn't say you were going to get this. You're actually going to get some GoPro mounts. So, you got a GoPro camera?
Of course.
All right. We want to see some videos, you know.
Oh, man. I might have to take you up on that.
You're watching Adventures in Trucking with Indiana Jack. Stay tuned.
You know, what's funny about Manel, we asked him if he remembered any of my videos, and he did. He remembered the Kingpin one of the first videos that I ever made, and I remember one of his because he has a YouTube channel also. He doesn't make videos anymore, but he was driving on 80 to either Salt Lake City or Rollins, or just where it's too cold for me in the winter. And his windshield wipers went out. And it got so bad, there was no place to stop. He had to reach out there and wipe the snow off and the ice. I mean, it was a bad storm. You couldn't see. So he actually did that on the video. And I doubt he would do that now because it was pretty risky. But I was shocked, and that's the one video of his that I remember. As we are remembering Old Red on this watermelon trip. For those of you who've been watching for a while, you may remember us going to Love's to Tire Pass in Shepherdsville, Kentucky, and it was broken and there was no sign out, and they argued a little bit about that. Well, we're back now to use Tire Pass at the same one. We're sneaking in here, not in Old Red, of course, but we have the Swede and they don't know this truck. I'm really not trying to be sneaky, but I just want to use Tire Pass, and we're giving Loves a chance to redeem themselves at this Tire Pass here in Shepherdsville, Indiana, or Shepherdsville, Kentucky. And wouldn't you know, right as I was pulling in, this truck pulled in front of me, and I don't know, he hasn't gotten out. It's already been about 10 minutes. He's just sitting in his truck. So maybe he's waiting for a Tire Pass person. I'm not sure, but I need my tire pressure checked. And we want Loves to redeem themselves here in Shepherdsville, Kentucky, on our watermelon run from Georgia to Indiana. And just so that we are all in sync, notice the time. It's 9:36. I've already been here 10 minutes, so we're timing it also for accuracy. The Loves guy finally came out, and it's been about 8 minutes or so. That's acceptable. So now we're just waiting. We'll see how long it takes him to actually check the guy's tires in front of me. All right, well, you're not going to believe this. I don't believe it, but it's true. Their Tire Pass just broke. That guy who we just saw, his name is Trent. He said his system is broken and they won't let me pull through here. So there's something about this particular Tire Pass. Shepherdsville, Kentucky. Don't ever come here. So now they make the truck driver back out and try to get over, which is not a big deal, but oh, it is a big deal. They got them all closed off here. He said they have to call the help desk because he doesn't know what's wrong with it. So okay, let's get out of here. I did go ahead and get some coffee here because I like, yes, you're hearing me say this, I like Love's decaf better than Pilot Flying J decaf because most of the time Pilot Flying J doesn't even have decaf, so that's why I like Love's better. And Pilot Flying J have been switching over to those new automated coffee makers, which that coffee, to me, it's not as good as regular brewed coffee, but that's probably just me. So yes, I came to Love's for Tire Pass, but I got a cup of coffee, decaf, because I like their decaf better. Sorry to divert our attention away from the Demise of Old Red. Actually, we're reminiscing today, and this is one truck stop where Old Red was involved, as I stated earlier. So what is your favorite memory of Old Red, if you have one? Well, we're keeping our watermelons nice and cool at 51 degrees here in Indiana, where it's going to be at least 100 degrees today. Right now it's in the 90s. So we've been talking about Old Red, and that kind of does it for her. You know, she's out to pasture now. She's eating grain out in the fields, eating grass with the other trucks. So now, since Old Red is gone, we usher in something new, and that's the Swede. And I've just been talking a little bit about the Swede, but not very much. We'll cover the Swede as we go along. That'll probably be the next video, or the next couple of videos. We'll have a truck tour of the Swede. So let's keep moving on our trip here in Indiana, heading up to Auburn, Indiana. We're getting some reefer fuel. We don't have to probably, but I'm doing it just to rest better. It turned really cool here because it rained all the way from Indianapolis to here in northern Indiana. So the reefer hasn't even run for a while, but I'm still want to top it off, even though I hate getting fuel in Indiana. But I don't want the reefer to run out in the middle of the night or something like that. So we're filling her up. All right, let's get her parked for the night in this rainy evening here in Marion, Indiana, where my aunt and uncle are buried. My Uncle Ed was a pastor here in this general area, Crawfordsville, northern Indiana, for many years, ever since I was a kid. Some of you may have heard of him here in Indiana. All right, let's try to get a place that's level. My Uncle Ed, he loved to look at himself in the mirror. And my mom and I always used to joke about that. All right. No pull-throughs. Here's one. Okay, 2 reefers and 1 dry van. So the reefers win. But mine's not going to be running that much anyway, so. Remember that clump of wires and my old radio I used to have up here? Well, I fixed it. I got another radio, and now this looks much cleaner now, the way that I have it. So I'm happy I can listen to Road Dog and not have a clump of wires on my dashboard. All right, well, I got my dinner. I'm ready to go to bed. See you guys early. 4 or 5 a.m. will be plenty early. So be ready, and we just have like an hour to drive. So see you then. All right. Good morning. We are at our watermelon drop here in I'm gonna say the big city is Fort Wayne, but if you know the little cities, it's Auburn, Indiana. We got our chilled watermelons on board, and hopefully all will go well here at Walmart. This is my first reefer load at a Walmart. I've heard horror stories. I've never had trouble with Walmart as a dry van operator, but a lot of my friends as a reefer operator hate coming to Walmart. So let's see how it goes here at Walmart. Well, we got our watermelons all delivered and turned off the reefer, and we're getting out of here. So make sure you hit like, subscribe, and comment on this video if you like the comment. Thanks for riding along. I'm Indiana Jack, and we'll see you next time.